What's going on, guys? We got a great show for you. We're covering NHL playoffs, bunch of Game 7s, NBA playoffs have been a snooze so far, and we have some final thoughts before our pre-draft episode coming out tomorrow. So let's go. Welcome to Trophy Kids, presented by Bad News Media. It is April 23rd, and how the hell are you, bud?
Doing all right. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Started off the weekend. Good. Yeah, started the weekend off a little iffy. You know, got a little sauced up after that sloppy Bruins game on Friday, and then Sunday rolled around. We had 3 games, 3 knock 'em down type of things. Line them up, knock 'em down. That's exactly what happened. The Celtics got out the brooms, swept away the Pacers. The Bruins forced a Game 7, and just like Jesus, the Boston Red Sox rose on the third game of the day, not the third day, and won a game. I'm riding higher than Snoop Dogg's conscious on 420.
First of all, baseball talk here. Look out, baseball talk. Hey, did the Red Sox start their season like 11 games away?
Oh, yeah, it was atrocious. Well, not only that, it took forever to get the ring ceremony. But I think they might have had one too many Budweiser in the offseason, and that hangover is atrociously bad.
Whoa. I mean, I know I'm going back like a month here on the MLB schedule, but like they were the World Series champions, and the MLB hooks them up and dicks them over with an 11-game road skid on the start of the season. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But anyways.
Oh, I'm getting screwed left and right with these home games. The Bucks don't have like a home game for like an eternity this upcoming season, and then they got to fly to London. It is absurd.
Did you see the Chargers have 6 straight weeks of not a home game? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. One is a bye, and then one is technically a home game in Mexico City, but from like November 5th to like December, I want to say like 15th or something. They never play in LA.
Hey, man.
What the hell's going on?
Player safety. We're all about player safety.
Yeah.
Well, with that start, we got some baseball talk, some NFL schedule that came out well, actually, that's more relevant. That came out recently. Dive right into it. We're recording this right before the Bruins game 7. Jeez. Ooh, wish it was game 5. Could get that one back. Yeah, I'm running pretty high. You know, it's been good. We forced a game 7. Your Capitals are also in a game 7. I've officially decided that I hate Austin Matthews and his pubescent beard that he has. The kid's like 21. He scored 5 goals in 4 games. I'm over him. I'm also over the Leafs goalie standing on his head every game. But yeah, it's been interesting.
Oh, yeah, they got Frederick Anderson, right?
Yep. It's been a pain in the ass.
First of all, I remember when we played. First of all, that name. Don't you just want to put Doctor in for Dr. Frederick Anderson, DDS? Like, I just can't stand his name. But he's really good, yeah, and he has been standing on his head.
Yep, that little redhead has given us all types of fits. But history is working against the Leafs.
Oh, yeah.
Your Capitals are in a game 7. How are we feeling about that?
I'll be honest, I'm not super confident. This is looking, to me, more like a Capitals playoff team the previous 10 years before last year. It's more looking like Ovechkin and Backstrom and Holtby, to a certain extent, doing all the work and them getting no secondary scoring at all. Whereas last year, all we got was secondary scoring and to go along with Ovechkin and Holtby killing it. But, like, I'm not loving it. I mean, Evgeny Kuznetsov is just a ghost. John Carlson isn't doing much. I'd say Carl Hagelin's doing great on the PK, but I would literally say there's 3 players on the Caps that are playing their asses off, and it's Ovechkin, Holtby, and Backstrom. And everyone else is kind of shitting the bed. So I'm a little nervous about tomorrow.
Where are you in the whole home ice advantage? Do you put much stock in it?
In the Caps, no. Other teams, yes.
Yeah. I don't really put much into home ice. Outside of, like, you get last shift type of deal. Yeah, I don't really buy into the home ice thing. The Bruins
I think
ice,
it's a little overrated.
Yeah, I in hockey, I think it's the least impactful of all the major sports.
I would agree with that. However, I will say for the Cap series so far, every home team has won.
That is
3-3.
true. It's the only series where I think that's the case.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
I mean, there is that. So that we have that working for us, but overall, I'm not really confident. I'm feeling like a Caps fan before last year.
That's an ugly sight.
Not a good feeling.
No.
Especially after dropping game 6 like that. Just like last year's Caps team would have just won that game.
Yeah. Well, it's the NHL playoffs are pure madness. There is yet to be a higher seed to advance so far in the entire playoff series. Now, that could very well change tonight with my Bruins and the potential Sharks winning their series against Vegas, which is a good one. To say the least, I'm about Ryan Gosling as I'm jacked to the tits at this point with how insane the Game 7s could be coming down the pipeline here. But
tonight's game is, your game, I think, is going to be more exciting to watch than my game, in my opinion. I mean, the Bruins Leafs series is just like, I mean, it's fucking madness. But it's just like the NHL playoffs is just proving to all of us how much better their playoffs are than the NBA.
Dude, the NBA, which is a very good transition. Talk about a snooze fest of a playoff to start.
Every team that I expect to win is winning.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruins, the Celtics swept the Pacers, which, they're Oladipo list, so I'm not putting a ton of stock in there. But everybody's got to be enjoying what Hayward's done. To come back from an injury like that and have a series that he just hit, that was pretty cool. So I liked that. That team definitely needed some good momentum heading into the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, by the way, showing that video of their fans chanting, "We want the Celtics," that is some next level ignorance. That's like asking, anytime you chant, "We want a Boston team," that's the equivalent of saying, "We want the Vikings to invade." Don't worry, they're coming, motherfuckers, and they are going to fuck shit up. Sorry for the vulgarity there.
No, I mean, but you're right, though. I mean,
what are you doing?
In my opinion, this is a Boston team that has so much talent that's underachieved. In the second round, they are, even though they'll probably be the lowest remaining seed, they are the last team that I would want to see. They're stacked with talent, and they just underperformed this year.
Yep. They watch out if they catch some heat, because that team has a very high ceiling. One thing I do love, but it's also proving to be sort of an Achilles heel for the NBA. LeBron being out of the playoffs, well, I think it is hilarious that he moved to LA and didn't make the playoffs. It is very much hurting their ratings, I think, because there isn't much, there's nothing really to watch outside of the 76ers Nets series, which who knew that was a rivalry we needed in our lives.
That series is hilarious, first of all. That's a really good series. When I first saw the series, after the Raptors series, I was like, oh, that series, this Sixers series is shit. Turns out it's probably the best series, but in any case, the ratings are doing shitty, and you would have to think that LeBron would have something to do with that. But the NBA playoffs, it's just wake me up when the second round comes. Because I will say the matchups, especially in the East, in the second round are awesome.
Yeah, I'd agree. You're going to have the Sixers in Toronto going at it unless something catastrophic happens in both those series. You got Milwaukee Celtics. The West isn't looking bad either, because you got Golden State versus Houston, which Golden State, I think, is in some trouble.
I do too. Golden State's a weird team.
They're sort of actually, I was about to say the Lightning, but not like the Lightning in the fact that they're going to get swept. But mentality-wise, I don't think they're all in, because you've got the whole Kevin Durant potentially leaving hanging over them. I don't think they're it looks super fun to play, but I do think when they get into tough situations, they do lose their minds a little bit, because that's just not a comfortable position for them to be in. Yeah,
it almost feels like they just think that they're going to be able to coast right through, which is what they have pretty much done the past 3 to 4 years. But, it's just this year it just feels a little different. It feels like someone else might actually win, which is nice. Going back to the East, I have no idea. When you name those 4 remaining teams, I have no idea who would win. I disrespect Toronto because they're Toronto. But
yep. As we went into last week.
Yeah, I disrespect Toronto for personal reasons. But, the Sixers can win, the Celtics can win, the Bucks can win, and stupid Toronto can win too. So I'm loving it. But, the Warriors, I think someone could knock them off this year. And it's very exciting.
The East is on the come up. The East has been a trash conference for the last, handful of years at least. But they had such young talent in it that it was inevitable that they were going to catch up to the West. And this year they sort of had. Giannis is an absolute problem in Milwaukee. The Celtics have a high ceiling. Toronto, if they could get over the mental hump that is the Toronto Raptors, and the Drake curse for that matter, they have a potential shot. If the Sixers' young talent can put it together, watch out in the league if Ben Simmons ever decides to get a jump shot going.
Yeah. The Sixers are weird. The Sixers are like, to me, they're the Cleveland Browns of the NBA. They just have number one picks after number one picks, and you would just tell yourself, eventually these number one picks are going to like become studs, and they're going to actually be a good team. And that's kind of what happened with the Browns in the NFL, and that's what I think kind of happened with the Sixers. Even though they missed on a lot of those early picks, like they picked Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, who's the guy they just got rid of. Fultz. I know they hit on all those. They'd be the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, I know. God.
But I mean, yeah, that talent has just come together.
Absolutely. Sorry, I had to take a little drink there for a second. No, absolutely. That team is coming together. And Embiid, talk about people that are a problem. Embiid is a problem down low for anybody that has to play him. Like, Toronto, good fucking luck trying to play against that kid. That dude plays bully ball. He's the sixth grader who like shot up over the summer. And when you get to seventh grade gym class, you're like, who is this kid?
He's just, he is a stud, and he's a huge problem. I loved how when, he had that hard foul, and then, he was on the Wizards. I can't even think of his name. Who's the maniac on the Nets?
Oh, Dudley?
Yeah, Jared Dudley. Yeah. So I love how Dudley comes over, shoves him. All Embiid does is walks to the right, puts his hands up, just walks away, and just madness just ensues behind him. He just started the entire thing, and he just walks away. It kind of reminded me of like a Kevin Garnett move.
Very true.
His arms up. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, not me. I mean, his quote after, which I'll paraphrase, was a baller quote where he's like, "The reason I didn't fight is because I actually mean something to my team, basically." And it was like, it's very true.
Yeah, and if he wanted to, he would fucking end the entire fight. I mean, he's a massive human being.
Oh, yeah, he could pick Dudley up and chuck him into, like, the fourth row, so.
Yeah.
Which was also hilarious when he was like, yeah, Dudley's a nobody. I was like, damn, that's going to hurt.
It was like, it's been in the league for, like, 13 years or something, and more people know who, like, Embiid and everyone on the Sixers. I mean, I only know who Jared Dudley is, really, because he played on the Wizards.
Yeah, and most of the world is only realizing who he is because of the shit he's been doing in this game, which credit to him, getting the brand out there. Late in his career,
right.
Getting the brand
absolutely. I give him all the credit in the world. I mean, these average players that get known for shit, like Lance Stephenson's one of them. I mean, just sell it. Keep going as long as you can.
Blowing in LeBron's ear was the greatest thing Lance Stephenson ever did.
The greatest decision he ever made.
That was a business decision, folks.
Get your name out there. Make all the money you can. I will never fault anyone for making money in whatever way they can.
Hell yeah. I was just looking at the NBA bracket. I kind of forgot Denver and San Antonio was even playing a series.
That's a good series.
It is. It's a very good series.
I've been having a lot of action in that series because I mean, it's like the Spurs are constantly underdogs, but they're the Spurs. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll put money on them.
Yeah, it's a good series as far as competitiveness goes. Mm-hmm. But when you look at it, you're like, oh, it doesn't jump off the page as much as all the other, I guess, series.
Yeah, and it's just because no one really knows, like,
players.
I mean, everyone knows, like, DeMar DeRozan, but no one knows, and I don't blame people for not really knowing, but on the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic is an unbelievable player. You would look at him and you would think this guy is just a big stupid ogre, and you would think he did nothing on the court. This man, like, I mean, he distributes the ball. He's John Stockton. But he's 7'2". Nikola Jokic is a phenomenal player that, like, no one knows about. And if you haven't seen him, watch him. He is a star.
Certified baller. To say,
I mean, he's a 7'2" point guard. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is. He'll be a problem to handle too. I mean, good luck Portland. Who is a very good basketball team though. CJ McCollum is having the time of his life. It looks like right now. He's not willing to be bounced in the first round, which they shouldn't be unless a catastrophic collapse happens. Russ is out there picking fights once again because he's about the angriest man. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody play basketball as angrily as Russell Westbrook, which is kind of awesome. But that man plays so angry.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, he's an absolute nutcase, and he averaged 3 years in a row. He's averaged a triple-double, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. And he's one of my favorite players in the league. It's so unfortunate that he has yet to win a playoff series since Durant left. I find that almost hard to believe, especially when you have Paul George on your team. Like that team, that's a sick team, and they're like the 6th seed, and I don't really understand why. I'm like, they have 2 like top 10, top 15. I mean, Russ is top 5 easy. Yeah, like they have just so much talent. Steven Adams is a good player. I mean, they have talent, so I don't understand why they can't win. Yeah, he's also the scariest man in the NBA. Now that you know Meta's gone, Braun. Yeah. But Steven Adams, I would not mess with that man. But,
pity the fool who decides to mess with that brother.
I would love to see like a fight between him and Nene. Oh my god, unbelievable.
I take the Australian, the Aussie in that one.
I think he's New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah, New Zealand. Fuck.
I actually think I may take Nene. He's Brazilian.
That's true. That's also true. Either way, it'd be a hell of a fight. How terrible do you think it is to be an Oklahoma City fan? If you think about the talent that has come through your city, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Paul George, and Steven Adams, if you want to put it in, like just that.
They also, they acquired Paul George via this trade, so I don't blame them. But they had Oladipo.
Oh yeah, shit! I forgot about that. That is insane.
If they could have held on to Oladipo somehow and acquired Paul George, we'd have a serious contender. But I guess they're one player short. I don't know, but
it's just nuts to think about the talent that has walked through that locker room in the not short time they've been in that city, but relatively short time comparably.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I mean, James Harden. I mean, they're all three. That big three, all 3 of them are so good. But you thought James Harden would be the worst. Maybe he is because Westbrook and Durant are just insane. I don't even know. But no one expected James Harden to get this good. At least I didn't.
No, he was the 6th man of the year or whatever on that team before he got shipped or he went over to Houston. So, yeah, unbelievable all around. Any final thoughts on the NBA playoffs?
I mean, let's just get to the second round. Like, you know what else I hate is in the NHL when one series is over, they say, "Okay, we don't really care about what is going on elsewhere. You're on to the next round. You're starting." Like that's how they are. The NBA's got to wait for everyone to be done, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, can we go?"
Yep. It's like when we were kids and we were sitting on that plane and we were sitting on the tarmac. I was like, dude, I just want to be the air traffic control guy who's like, go, 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 and just shoot planes off the
just go, guys.
Let's roll.
Come on. Like, what are we waiting for?
Yeah, so that was that. Got a little new segment here. We're switching gears to the little NFL here. You know, you got the wild boys of the NFL. We got the weird boys club of the NFL right now. And Russell Wilson has firmly placed both feet in that category. We didn't mention this when it happened because it kind of slipped my mind and we had other shit to talk about. But Russell Wilson is a weird dude.
Yeah, that video was really weird. I was watching it like in my cube at work, and I was like getting uncomfortable. He's just like laying in his bed there, you know, with Sierra. And he's Seattle, what up? I signed a deal. It's like he's half asleep. Like, did he just have morning sex? Like, what just happened? And then like you got Sierra there, she's like, 12, what's up? And I'm so uncomfortable. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. It was weird. I don't know what to say of it.
Yeah, it was a very, very weird move. I feel like he's a weird dude to begin with. Hell of a football player. Let's not get that confused. This being in the weird boys club is not does not what's the word I'm looking for? Take you out of being a baller on the field. His teammates are even making fun.
It doesn't take away from your play at all. No.
Yeah, no. But you are a weirdo. I
think that team in general is a little weird. A lot of them are gone, but I thought Sherman was kind of a weird guy. Michael Bennett was weird. Marshawn Lynch is a little weird. That was just a weird team.
Marshawn Lynch is a weird dude, but a funny weird dude. The rest of them are just weird.
Funny for sure, but different.
Yeah, we didn't set that up very well, too. What we're referring to is the video he made when he signed his gigantic contract, which you had to pay him the money. But it was weird. I thought I was about to watch Ray J and Kim Part 2, just the Sierra Russell
Yeah, I was like, are they gonna have like celebration sex? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think that's what happened. This is the other part. This is what brought me to mind. I saw this quote today, or not today, a couple days ago. Russell Wilson was talking about Future paying child support, and in that he like roasts Future, talking about like his little coins at this point. But he legitimately tried to say that his wife is like stressing over like minuscule amount of money. It's like, why do you have any part of that stress? Don't try to be like me and you, the regular folks of the world. Your children and their children are never going to have to want for anything in this world. Both of you make millions of dollars. Like, isn't she successful on her own?
I mean, yeah, we're talking about two celebrities here, and I mean, I don't blame Russell if he doesn't chip in because I mean it's not his kid, but obviously he could easily.
Yeah.
And Sierra has a successful career herself. I think she has a clothing line and all that bullshit. I mean, yeah. It's also ridiculous. Future can't make child support payments.
Also insane. Yeah. Let's not like.
He also has a lot of money. I mean, if we add all their money up together, we're talking about like $250 million probably, maybe even more. Because Russell's made it. But yeah, that's a little weird. I don't really follow that either.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, Future. First of all, let's not gloss over that. Pay your fucking child support, brother. But like, why are you guys stressing? Just hire a lawyer and go get it from him. Like, why is there stress involved? Either way, off track there. But yeah, Russell's in the weirdo club.
That was weird.
Danny Andola's dipping his toes into the weirdo pool because that Instagram post that he had was one of the more wilder reads of my life. Just because of the way it started off being like, I'm a very private man. I don't post pictures. Kind of like shitting on his model girlfriend for posting pictures. Like, God forbid, the woman who gets paid off the picture she takes posts pictures.
She might want to keep doing that.
Yeah, might be kind of the whole reason she's famous and gets paid, but whatever. Might be her job. But then he goes out to talk about their sex lives. He calls Zed a scrawny-ass dude, which was hilarious. He basically looked like what all of us, well, I shouldn't say all of us. When you go through a breakup, it's tough and you go a little bit crazy in your house, but you don't just air it out in public. He went full kind of crazy X in that post.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing to come from like a professional athlete. I personally would just keep that to myself. But apparently Dana didn't want to, so
Yeah, like, what are you doing? You're best friends with Gronk and Julian Edelman. Go have a boys' weekend and just forget about it. Like, could you imagine that? Call them up.
Yeah, I think they could probably take your mind off of it. I think Gronk would love to. Yeah,
he ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah, Gronk's got nothing to do. I mean, he's just looking to have fun. So yeah, that was a weird post too. It was a different kind of post than Russell's. At least Russell's was like football related.
Yeah, this was kind of crazy.
Russell's made me uncomfortable, while Danny's just made me just be like, what the fuck?
Correct. I did the same. I was like, what the fuck am I reading right now? Why is this on Instagram?
Yeah, I was like, then I checked. I was like, this is Danny Amendola's account. I was like, it is. I was like, what's going on?
This is the part of the offseason where we get into the weird shit because we're not yet close enough to training camp, and I think players are just getting bored because it's been long enough after the season. There's not really a whole lot going on. You don't have OTAs yet. There's just not a whole lot going on. We're getting to the weird phase. Speaking of football season, though, we got the draft on Thursday.
Yep.
Any thoughts on what your Redskins might do there?
Oh God, it's just this whole week is just lying week. All the teams are lying about what they want to do right now, so it's so hard to tell. I'm super excited because this is probably the first time I think since we drafted Robert, which was 2012, that I'm actually able to watch the draft because the Caps always have a playoff game, and they play tomorrow and they don't play Thursday, so I'm very happy about that. I mean, I've been hearing rumors about us trading up to try to get Dwayne Haskins. I don't love that idea because I would much rather – if you trade up in the first round to get Haskins, you're going to have to get rid of this year's first-round pick, most likely next year's first-round pick. And so I'm just thinking to myself, why don't we just trade this year's first-round pick and just get Rosen and not have to give away our future? But it all comes down to are they going to draft Kyler Murray number one or are they going to take Nick Bosa? So it's hard to tell. I mean, I don't really trust – any report I see right now because I think every team right now is lying, and I don't blame them. I would lie too. So I don't know. I hope we don't. I'm just praying we don't reach for a receiver. This draft is such a defensive-heavy draft. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we grab a receiver first round, first of all, I'm not a DK Metcalf believer.
Nope, neither am I.
He wasn't that good in college. Okay, you're really good at working out. Congratulations. I need to see it on the field. I mean,
You'll agree with me on this. I'd rather have the kid from South Carolina than I would.
Oh, yeah, Debo?
DK, yeah, I'd rather have Debo.
Yeah, Debo's an absolute animal. Debo plays he plays like with the toughness like Pierre Garçon, and just like, I know Pierre's not a world beater, but that guy just catches the ball and runs as hard as he fucking can, and that's what Debo is. And Debo can also return kicks and punts. Debo's a little more versatile than Pierre, but yeah. I don't. Drafts are so hard to predict. If you asked me who we were going to pick the past 2 years, I would have been way off. So
yeah, I love it. We won't go into like a big draft thing. I plan on probably doing that in the next episode or for. Tomorrow we're doing it with Tim, so tune in there. It's impossible to predict. The thing that I don't understand, I don't know what the Bucs are going to do. We'll have to see what falls to us. I'm assuming defense because God knows we need it like every year. I feel like we need a corner every year or a fucking defensive end or something. It's like, how have we not hit yet on this? Whatever. That's a whole other story. I do not understand the infatuation with this quarterback class, because like in the past there have been like one or two guys where you're like, if you insert them into an offense that isn't really built yet, they're going to probably be okay. But I don't know if you could convince me that any one of these quarterbacks starting day one can go into a locker room and find success without you surrounding them with good talent. So like, why trade up? Go draft some wide receivers or running backs or defensive guys, because you know what's hella helpful is when a rookie quarterback has a good defense, he doesn't have to worry about turning over the ball, and go draft a quarterback next year, the year after that. Like, I don't understand these teams who have giant holes everywhere else, and they're like, yeah, we got to go get Haskins or Kyle Murray. Like, what?
Yeah, Haskins, in my opinion, ideally to me would sit a year before he plays, for me at least. The only thing I would get excited about, I have been reading some things about the Skins, been talking to the Jets about moving up to 3, and I'm like, well, if you move up to, I don't think you need to move up to 3 to grab Haskins, but maybe. Now, my dream scenario would be we move up to 3, and for whatever reason, Arizona takes Nick Bosa and doesn't take Kyler. That would be big time.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen, but if we move up to 3 and then Kyler doesn't go 1, it's on.
Yep. On like
I would take him.
Yeah, and that's not to say that I don't think any of these quarterbacks are going to be successful by any stretch of the imagination. But like the conversation that like the Cardinals may take on another quarterback, I think is just silly, because it's you have nothing else. Like, what's the difference next year between what you had with Rosen? Your offensive line sucks. You don't have many weapons. Like, what do you think the outcome here is going to be? But yeah, we'll see what it gets into. Should be interesting. Any final thoughts before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, go Caps.
Go Bruins. Alrighty. See you on the other side. Peace.
There.